Hi, here we are with the syllabus for reading and composition, otherwise known as English C1000, the summer of 2026. First of all, a few important pieces of information. You can see that we have the textbook up here, Monsters 3rd edition. If you haven't acquired that yet, please get it as soon as possible. We're going to be working in Monsters right away. The book is available online. It's available from a number of vendors. It's also available on the campus bookstore at Mesa College. Ways to get a hold of me. Now, summer is a little bit of a dead time, so the best place to go is, well, not a place, it's email, right? Here's my campus email address. Also, we do have an office and a phone, but I'm not there during the summer unless I really have to be there for some particular reason. Most of the time, that's not really necessary. If you do want to do a Zoom conversation, if we can find a time together to do a Zoom conversation, here is my Zoom ID. So if you'd like to talk to me, you want to talk about an assignment, just maybe some issues with the class, or just in general, anything that help you out, we can do that on Zoom. And this is the Zoom ID, but you'll also see that if we set something up, I'll send you an invitation that will also have that Zoom ID. Otherwise, I will not be on Zoom at any regular time. Now, the catalog course descriptions, and I do have plural because there are two parts to this course description. The first part is basically identical across the entire state of California. It says the following. In this course, students receive instruction in academic reading and writing, including writing processes, effective use of language, analytical thinking, and the foundations of academic research. Okay, that's basically what this class is across the whole state. But we like to add a little bit ourselves here. So we have part 2. Students read, analyze, discuss, and think critically using a variety of works and sources. Based on these activities, students write essays, fully documented research projects, and other types of text for various purposes and audiences. This written work, which demonstrates effective, logical, and precise expression of ideas, totals at least 6,000 graded words. Designated sections of this course may be taught from a specific cultural perspective. This class used to be numbered English 101, but if you're familiar with what's been happening in our system, we are now using a different number, C1000, which is basically used across the whole state. Okay. Now, this learning objectives, student learning objectives. Basically, this is what we look at. We say, what are you going to learn in this class? Hopefully. Upon successful completion of the course, the student will be able to 1. Read, analyze, discuss, and evaluate a variety of texts. 2. Identify arguments, patterns, and strategies in a variety of texts. 3. Write, revise, and edit a total of at least 6,000 graded words. 4. Compose a variety of essays that demonstrate increasing familiarity with and expertise in academic writing. 5. Select a variety of research strategies using appropriate documentation. 6. Apply critical thinking in reading, writing, and class discussion. Okay. Pretty good. Looks kind of like an exciting class, actually. Course learning outcomes. Oh my gosh, don't ask me too much about this. But this is basically just something that, again, kind of like objectives, outcomes talk about the things that you'll be able to do. And we just have one. Students will identify an author's position, understand their own relationship to that position, and construct arguments with textual evidence. Voila. Now, the things to keep in mind. Now, there are a couple of things that are really important. First of all, success or failure in school is directly related to participation. If you fail to participate in the class, using, for instance, not doing the discussion threads or the assignments for 2 weeks or longer, you may be dropped. It's essentially the same as if you just stopped going to a regular in-person class. right? You'll get dropped. I will attempt to contact and notify you that you have to complete the missing work, as long as there is a verifiable medical or legal excuse for non-participation. Otherwise, you'll be dropped from the course. Okay, so in other words, just signing up for this course isn't the end. It's the beginning. And if something happens in your life that is getting in the way of your ability to participate, I would really hope that you would reach out to me and let me know what's going on. There may be something I can help. Maybe I can't help, but we can talk about what to do with the class. Who knows? But what I don't like is silence. When I don't hear anything at all, right? I am ghosted. That's when basically people are dropped. Number 2, if for some reason you decide to withdraw, you do wish to drop the class, please do so online. Okay, in other words, you got to do it officially. If you drop before June 24th, which is actually pretty quick, you will not receive a W. In other words, there's just nothing on your transcript. By the way, this is not the same as the refund date. The refund date's earlier. I believe the refund date is June 20th. So you really got to make up your mind pretty fast. You have until July the 17th to drop the class and receive a W. So if you're in the class after June 24th, then you have a few weeks until July the 17th. And if you say, well, this class is not for me for whatever reason, doesn't matter what the reason, you have until July 17th to get that W. Now, a W is not an F, okay? It's not a 0. It doesn't say anything bad about you. It just means you were here for a while and then you left. But after July 17th, you can't get a W anymore. After that, you must receive a grade, A, B, C, D, F. So you are in charge of your own enrollment status. This includes adding the class by the add deadline or dropping it by the drop deadline. If you stop participating in class without dropping the course, you may receive an F for the entire semester, especially if you decide after July 17th that you just don't want to do it anymore. That is exactly what will happen. Now, each assignment will have a specific due date. Okay, this is an online class, which means you get to work on it when you want. But that doesn't mean that there's no due dates. There are specific due dates for all of our work. Okay, work not turned in on time receives an F or 0 points. Deadlines will be set on Canvas. Work turned in late, missing a word there, sorry, will receive no credit. That means 0 points. If you have a verifiable illness or other legitimate reason to be late with work, please contact me. Family vacations or employment conflicts are not legitimate reasons to be late with your work. Please plan ahead. Okay, that's part of the benefit of doing the online class. You have a little more flexibility. Okay, but that flexibility really only works if you take advantage of the time that you have. Okay, in other words, if you wait to the last minute, you procrastinate, that's when things go bad. Now, number 4, all assignments have minimum requirements, and work that fails to meet the minimum requirements may be given a grade of C- or less on the basis of that alone. That means you must meet the word count requirements, source requirements, and any other requirements given. Now, the minimum requirements are objective considerations. In other words, there's no attempt to be tricky here, okay? They're very clearly you have it or you don't. So if I say you need to have a 1,000-word essay, you turn in a 500-word essay, guess what? 500 is not 1,000. It's not going to pass. But again, I'm never trying to be tricky or anything. And if you have any questions, or you're unclear about what are the requirements, ask. Ask. Number 5 is about grades. What are the grades that you're going to get over the course of the semester? We have a lot of different assignments. Now, there are going to be some short essays, which are 30%, 10% for each. Okay. Class participation, which has a lot of different things going on with that. That'll total up to be another 20%. We also have discussion threads each and every week. That's 30% of the total class. And chapter 4, which is the last paper we do, is worth 20%. It'll be a longer paper than the short essays. That, I believe, is 100, all right? 30, 20, 30, 20. Here we go. Now, keep in mind that there are no pluses or minuses given for final grades at Mesa, but they will be given on assignments. If a student's total grade falls in the gray area between two grades, which I define as being plus or minus 1% on a percentage scale, matters such as improvement over the course of the semester may be used to guide the instructor's determination of the final grade. So in other words, if you have an 89.9, there's a pretty good chance I'm going to say, okay, you should get the A. On the other hand, it's not a guarantee. Okay. It's not a guarantee. Number 6, students with disabilities who may need academic accommodations should discuss options with their professors during the first 2 weeks of class. This is basically true for all classes on campus. Now, academic honesty. I hate having to talk about this on the first day, first in the syllabus, but the deans make me do it. So we have a board policy 5500 and administrative procedure 3100.3. They both talk about plagiarism. Plagiarism is the act of claiming someone else's work as one's own and may show up in the following forms. A, verbatim copying without proper acknowledgement. B, paraphrasing without proper acknowledgement. C, putting together a patchwork paper from diverse sources without acknowledging the sources. Or D, the out-and-out theft of someone else's significant ideas without proper acknowledgement. Now you hear the word acknowledgement in all of these, right? That's where the MLA comes in. Just remember, one key to understanding plagiarism is intentions are not necessarily the problem. You may be guilty of plagiarism without trying to cheat if you don't do something right. Now, let's talk about AI very quickly. One purpose of education is to empower students to think critically and work independently. The use of artificial intelligence in this class must therefore be limited to use as a pre-writing activity, such as reading, brainstorming, or free writing. Any use of AI to compose or do the research for an essay works against your ability to think for yourself. For this reason, the use of AI is strictly limited to pre-writing. This means Grammarly and other such applications are not allowed, because you're not going to learn anything if you start using that stuff. It'll fix it for you. You won't have any idea why. Now, number 9 is just a plea. Keep in contact. This is the thing about online classes. I rarely meet my online students in person, especially rarely during the summer. Keep in contact either through the district email, which is on the front of the syllabus, or through the message system that we have on Canvas. I will communicate to the class through announcements and messages on Canvas. Typically, the announcements are for the whole class, messages are for individuals. Please allow 48 hours to hear back from me during the weekdays and 72 on the weekends, although typically I try to get to you much faster than that. In the event that you feel we need a face-to-face conference, we can schedule one at a mutually convenient time on Zoom. Now, we are short on time, so let me just talk very briefly. You have some assignment dates. Please make note of these dates today. You will be getting assignment instructions on them, of course, at the appropriate time. But you can see that we have 4 major assignments, and you can see the due dates. Also, discussion threads. There are 2 parts to discussion threads. There are initial statements that you make, each comments, and then you have replies. Every week we have this. Initial comments are due on Wednesdays. Replies are due on Fridays. Canvas will show you the due dates. Do not submit threads late, as you will be given a 0.